furious fighting on July 17, 1944, the 29th Division pushed to within 3,000 yards of the center of Saint-Lô. On July 18, General Gerhard received orders from 19th Corps to secure the town. Gerhard assembled Task Force C, a collection of tank, reconnaissance, tank destroyer, and engineer units. Infantry units were ordered to join the task force as it passed. At 1500, Task Force C rolled west toward Saint-Lô. Elements of the 115th Infantry Regiment fell in along the route. Many Germans refused to surrender. Houses had to be bulldozed to subdue the defenders. But at 1900 hours, Gerhard informed headquarters that the 29th Division had secured the city after 43 days of continual combat from the beaches to Saint-Lô. On June 8, the 175th Infantry moved westward on the Isigny-Bayeux Highway. After facing determined resistance from German anti-tank crews and infantry along the way, by 0800 on June 9, they had cleared German resistance from Isigny. The fall of Isigny collapsed the left flank of the German 352nd Division, which could no longer block the American corridor inland. Meanwhile, the 115th Infantry was to cross the Ore River Valley. When they reached the valley, which the Germans had supposedly flooded, they found only shallow water and mud to be crossed. The bridges between Lacombe and Douai had been destroyed, so patrols were sent out to search for crossings. One patrol crossed the valley south of Conchy. Soon other units followed the same route. On June 9, the 116th Infantry mopped up remaining resistance between Grand Camp and Isigny. By June 9, elements of the 29th had crossed the Ore River and began pushing south into the Norman countryside. Nothing had prepared the Allied armies from private to general for the awful reality of the Norman hedgerow country, the bocage. The Germans infiltrated this maze of small enclosed fields and prepared an endless series of ambushes, snipers in treetops, machine guns in hedgerows, and anti-tank teams hidden in the dense foliage along the narrow sunken lanes. The fighting was a series of sudden and vicious actions, where advancing a few hundred yards could be a terrible day's work. After a while, tank crews started welding bocage-busting teeth onto their Shermans. Better yet, new tactics coordinated tank and infantry units for mutual support, accelerating the American advance. After over 3 weeks of preparation, the Americans renewed their assault on Hill 192 on July 11, 1944. The 2nd Division's 23rd Infantry Regiment was assigned the left wing in the assault. The terrain over which they attacked was dominated by a 750-yard draw just northeast of Hill 192. Because the draw was too deep for tanks to cross, the assault fell to Company A. The German 3rd Parachute Division held their fire until the 1st Platoon reached the bottom of the draw. Suddenly, German fire raked the Americans, but the 1st Platoon refused to withdraw. German strongpoints held out valiantly against a flanking movement by the 2nd and 3rd Platoons. Tanks fired point-blank into houses. After what must have seemed an eternity, the 1st Platoon was saved. All but 13 of them, casualties of Purple Heart Draw. By June 12, 1944, the Americans had pushed to within 1 mile of Hill 192, the dominating height between Saint-Lô and Omaha Beach. Over the next 4 days, the U.S. 2nd Division attacked the hill 3 times. Each time, the German 3rd Parachute Division threw them back. The Americans pounded the hill with artillery and airstrikes until July 10, then renewed the infantry assault on July 11. At 0630, the 2nd Division's 38th Infantry Regiment launched its attack behind a rolling artillery barrage. The Germans fought fiercely to hold their ground, but whenever the attack faltered, the Americans committed more men. The Germans had few, if any, reinforcements to commit. By 1700 on July 11, the 38th had slugged their way over the top of Hill 192.